Hitler and Julius Streicher basically moved in the same political circles in the early 1920s, which was this radical, right-wing, hyper-nationalist, anti-Semitic group. They were very opposed to the Treaty of Versailles, to the new German Democratic Republic called the Weimar Republic, and were angry about the end of World War I. They also had somewhat similar profiles. Streicher and Hitler had both fought in World War I, but not together. Streicher was a longtime Nazi. He had been a member of the Nazi Party from the early 1920s. He was on close terms with Hitler. He used the word du with him, which means the informal you. Most people with Hitler spoke to him very formally. They used the formal Sie. So anybody who's using du, who's speaking informally with Hitler, you know that they are longtime friends, very close associates. So that's Julius Streicher, that he is an early Nazi, a rabid Nazi, and a passionate anti-Semite. He hates Jews. Julius Streicher loved slogans. He is constantly using pretty nasty slogans as well about Jewish people. So one of them was, "The Jews are our misfortune," or "There's no solution for humanity without a solution to the Jewish question."
Die Völker gegeneinander zu hetzen, wenn selig geworden ist, der weiß, ohne Lösung der Judenfrage keine Erlösung der Menschheit.
He loved to just obsess about all sorts of racial ideas. He's a very clear expression of the racial anti-Semitism and the racism of the Nazis. Julius Streicher was not particularly sophisticated or particularly educated. He claimed that his sort of talent was speaking to the masses, basically speaking in a way that was very popular, very, very easy to understand. Actually, if you're trying to explain Nazi ideology to somebody, quotes from Streicher are some of easier ways to do it because it is very straightforward. He never claimed to be a genius or an intellectual. There were other Nazis who were or who did, but that was not Streicher. Streicher was man of the people. He had been a high school teacher for years, so he was very comfortable in front of a crowd. He liked to give these big public speeches. He liked to get under people's skin, actually, and really promote this anti-Semitism out loud, in public, in these big speeches. So that's something else that he and Hitler had in common. Hitler also was not very well educated, was not necessarily an intellectual. His ideas, it was in communicating them to the public. Streicher is unapologetic in his anti-Semitism. And with the rise in subscribers, with this rise in circulation, comes more money for Streicher, more notoriety, more attention, and ultimately he becomes quite a wealthy man. He has several homes, he lives a high life in Nuremberg, and gets rich quite quickly. He is not well loved by other Nazi leaders. Der Stürmer's not always well loved by other Nazi leaders, but Hitler in general stands by him. By the time of World War II, though, he's pretty well sidelined. He is not in the center of the action, but he does keep publishing Der Stürmer. He was what was known as a Gauleiter, which is the regional leader, essentially, of the Nazi Party based in the region of Franconia. And he gets into a lot of trouble, again, because he's this kind of crass guy who just says what he wants, does what he wants, tends to get into fights and brawls. He has many different mistresses. Julius Streicher was not only well known in Germany, he was also well known abroad. People were well aware of Der Stürmer, of the really horrible anti-Semitic lies that it printed. He was arrested by the Allied powers and tried as a major war criminal before the International Military Tribunal at Nuremberg. He was tried on 2 counts and he's ultimately just convicted of one, which is crimes against humanity, essentially for inciting Germany and Germans to commit genocide, to carry out the mass murder of Europe's Jews. The case against him was essentially that everything that he published in Der Stürmer, demanding that Jews be kicked out of Germany, depicting Jews as a dangerous race, as a threat to Germany, that all of this had basically made Germany so much more anti-Semitic that it made the Holocaust, that it made the mass murder of Jews possible. He basically said, I never killed anybody and I never told anybody else to kill anybody, is what he claimed. And the case against him really showed, sure, maybe you didn't say it in those exact words, but the things that you did say, the arguments that you made, basically left no other conclusion. If you say that Jews are the devil, then like, why are you going to let them stay anywhere, right? That was sort of the logic back, right? Like, he has said things like, Jews are the devil, Jews must be kicked out of not just Germany, but the entire world. He used the word in German for annihilate. Streicher is convicted of crimes against humanity, and on October 1st, 1946, he is sentenced to death and executed a few weeks later.